Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. I am with John Heckman, the tattooed historian, and I got to zoom in on his logo because this is cool stuff. So John, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be on.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of your stuff.
Thank you.
You have really done some cool things, and I think that's probably the best word to describe what you're up to. It's making the Civil War cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I'm trying to make history cool in general. It's just the fact that for too many years I felt that so many people were shut out of the history field, and I want to get people back involved in it, feeling like they're welcome back into the history field, or just to be history nerds in general. It was for far too long. I think we got a little too stuffy, or maybe a little too closed-minded, and I think it's time to broaden the horizons and make it a welcoming environment.
All right. So when you say a little too stuffy, people don't expect the historian to show up with sleeves of tattoos and stuff like that. So you're literally breaking the mold. But I think more importantly, more excitingly, just your attitude is breaking a lot of molds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How are you doing that?
I'm just being myself.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy concept. If you can just go out and be who you are as a person, that I'm the same person behind a podium as I am standing here with you. So I think that's the best part about what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just be myself and trying to be open-minded with other people and be open and accepting of people. And I answer all of my emails, I post all of the stuff, and it's me doing the work, and I think that's very important. That way my voice is lended to the masses.
And I'll apologize, it's a little breezy at the moment, so if that's affecting our sound quality, I do apologize. You talk a lot about authenticity, and that's really important as a way to connect with your audiences.
Right.
How's that been going so far?
I think it's been going really well. I've been getting a lot of people who've been following along saying that they finally have a home to learn history, which is pretty cool. I never thought it would be like that because I was just being myself. But a lot of people have really latched onto it and have really become a part of it and like to have the ability to comment and share the stuff out and really be a part of the experience. And I love being a part of the experience. It's something that I want to leave behind as a legacy.
Now you talk about the experience, and I sort of look at what you do as a full court press, because you've got an active Facebook page, you've got a podcast, a lot of stuff on all sorts of different platforms.
Right.
Just for our viewers at home, can you run down some of those things for us?
Wow, I think I'm on like 6 platforms now. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm just getting ready to start a new branded YouTube channel. I'm on LinkedIn, and I even have a Patreon. So I'm on like 7 platforms, and I have a podcast as well called The Tattooed Historian Show. So I'm trying to reach different kinds of audiences with the different platforms that I'm utilizing, and also the different ways of engagement, either by video or by live stream or by podcast. That way we can touch people across the generations and across the different touch different types of Americans and people around the world, because I've even had people watch me in the Arctic Circle, which is kind of weird, but it's worked,
It's a cold day in the Arctic.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure that this is not anything like the Arctic right now, but I've had people in Norway watching my stuff, and it's been amazing. It's been great.
So, and I want to tie that back to your notion of being yourself and authenticity, because listening to your podcast, it feels like sitting across the breakfast table, and you're just sort of like, here's kind of what's on my mind today, here's what I've been reading, here's what, and it's a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought of FDR in the fireside chats.
Okay.
That's the way it should be. It worked for him, and I figured, well, if someone will listen to me for 30 minutes, talking to someone as if we're sitting in a pub or we're sitting in a coffee shop, and none of it is scripted, which is great, because then we can work off of each other. And sometimes I have 2 people at one time on the program along with me, and when you get 3 people feeding off of each other, it makes some really great content. And that goes back to the authenticity of the moment, how you're feeding off of each other, and figuring people out that way is really awesome to me. It's kind of like history speed dating.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, one of the things, though, I think you do a nice job, particularly he does some great Facebook posts where he has conversations with people. And it doesn't feel like speed dating, because you're just going to take some time and talk.
Right.
It's like a really neat conversation, as opposed to, we got a topic, we got to rush through this.
Right, and it's really important to realize that I'm self-aware enough to understand I don't know a lot about a little bit of things. I know a little bit about a lot. So I can reach out and be like, hey, I want to learn more about this, or ask questions, and let the person who's on there with me be the quote star of the program, and I'm just hosting them and giving them a platform as well. and I really want to give back to the field in general in that way.
Now, for folks who want to watch some of those programs, they can do so live or online.
Yes. Yes, you can do so live on Facebook. I do a lot of live streaming on Facebook. I have live monthly presentations at the Gary Owen Irish Pub. I bring someone in to do the presentations, and I sometimes host along with them. I have my podcast, and wherever you find your podcast, whether it be on iTunes or Spotify, you can find stuff on there. And the YouTube channel, as I said, will be coming up. So we're going to have a lot of different platforms for you to find stuff. If you just look up the Tattooed Historian, I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Now, going back to the FDR thing, so you're going to talk to us about banking? No. I have a 2-year degree in accounting, but there'll be no banking involved in that. Since that's what got him started.
Right, and it's a lot less political than the fireside chats as well. That was the other thing, is I wanted to be open and accessible for everyone.
Now, I know you best for your Civil War stuff, but you've got a very impressive World War I history background as well.
Right. I studied World War I history for a long time, and I've partnered alongside with other people who have done so. Some of them were actually overseas just now for the 100th anniversary of Versailles. Wow. I was jealous of them being overseas doing that, but I tried to open myself up to a plethora of war and society kind of background. I didn't want to just talk about operational history. I want to talk about the people involved. And I just grew up in an area that was close to Gettysburg, so I was naturally a Civil War kid growing up, and I kind of branched out from there, and it just has become a really neat thing to take in. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
So what's next on tap for the Tattooed Historian?
Next on tap is I'm probably going to increase my merchandise line because that's going to help pay the bills to get me to Gettysburg or other places, wherever that may be. I have multiple live stream tours in the works over this month of July, and possibly branching out and doing some more live stream tours because a lot of people online love those things. I get great engagement, and I'm going to be going and trying to find new things to cover for you all, and we'll see what happens from there. But I'm very open-minded about the future. I'm very happy about what we could be doing here in the near future.
Really exciting stuff going on with the Tattooed Historian, and I think one of your great successes so far, we haven't touched on this, is attracting younger viewers, younger readers. I know the $1 million question in the field right now is, how do we get more young people involved?
Right.
This guy's doing a heck of a job doing that.
Thank you. My demographic is about 70% between the ages of 17 and 40. So we have, and a lot of it is college age students. So we're getting a lot of feedback from that, but I think that goes back to the authenticity issue, where I'm just being myself, and the people who follow me can be themselves and be open-minded and have a place to come to. So I think that's why the demographic is so much, the demographic is lesser than we usually see at a lot of the history tours and podcasts and stuff like that.
But that's the future of history, if we could use such a phrase.
There you go. Yeah, there's plenty of people out there who are hungry for this. I don't like to be generational with it. I don't like generalizations either. There are people who are 60 who don't care about history, or 70, and there are people who are 16 or 17 who don't. But to shut people out just because of their age group, I think is folly, and I think we need to overcome that piece of advice that some people have taken.
So one last pitch for folks. If they want to follow along, how can they do so?
The best way to follow me is to log on to Facebook, facebook.com/tattooed historian. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm posting a lot on there. It's _tattooed_historian. And I have links there that you can go to my other sites, or you can go onto YouTube and look up the Tattooed Historian, and you'll be able to find it on there as well.
Very good. Well, a pleasure to catch you here, chat with you a little bit today. I'm going to have you back on at some point. I'm going to get you on the podcast. I want to do more because what you're up to is super exciting, and I'm excited about it.
Well, thank you, Chris, for having me on here. I'm really appreciative of all the things you're doing as well, and you're doing some great stuff with emerging that I really appreciate.
Well, thanks so much, John. Appreciate it. We got sort of like a mutual man crush going on here.
There you go.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Future collaborative effort.
Absolutely. So, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Mackowski with John Heckman, the Tattooed Historian on Emerging Civil War.
Take care, everyone.